But I used to love haymaking a lot. It was quite pleasurable because you had the boys there and banter and one thing and another. But it was hard. It was all pitchforks back in them days, and it wasn't mechanical like it is today. It would be just hard graft, like, you know, pitching bales and that. And I remember pitching my first bales on my own. I was about 15. Yeah, it was a happy life. It was hard, but it was certainly happy. It was, you know, it was a good life. You wouldn't change it, like. I was always stronger than most, so to speak, for certainly my size, simply because we'd be chucking all these bales around all the time, you know, these square bales, all by hand. I used to like rugby, and of course the one ram I used to scrummage with when I practiced scrum, using my scrummage machine, he was Jeff. The Suffolk ram was very quiet, and used to put his head under my right shoulder, and I used to scrummage with him, but I never won because he had 4 feet on the floor and I only had 2. But it was quite a good technique to learn. Yeah, it made me quite formidable in that respect. But yeah, he was very quiet. He was a lovely old sheep he was, like. Mega Rugby came to find me in 1986. They wanted me to play for them. I was about 25 then when they came. They wanted me to play hooker, and I always used to play flanker. I did, and I said to Chris, I said I'm a flanker, not hooker. He said, yeah, but he said you can make the transition. And I said, yeah, but you're judging me by how I was in school. I said, I ain't like that. He said, well, what's the matter then? I said, I don't know. I said, my health is gone. I said, I got no energy for nothing. I said, I'm just completely hopeless. And he said, oh, sorry about that. And then it was still another, what was that, 86, 7, 8, 9, still another 6 years, was it, before I found out what it was. Well, I believe it started in 76, the mandatory dipping. It first of all started with one dipping, which was normally September, October, early November time. But we didn't have any explanation to what we were using or any protective gear that we had to wear. That carried through until 1984. When they changed it then to biannual dipping. After the second one, that's when I went down with severe depression, really bad, and I had no clue because there was nothing of that in our family. You know, I lost all ability to concentrate. It's almost like as if your mind is just so tired, like shattered, that you can't concentrate, you can't think. And if you think about something, you get a physical pain in the head. Your actual thought gives you a pain in the head. So it's really affected everything. Really affected your work life, but it also affected your social life, because by the time I was still working, and by the time you'd done a day's work, you were just shattered. You didn't want to go anywhere. You couldn't go anywhere because you had no energy. I used to lie down on the settee for the rest of the evening to get recuperated, try and go back out and do a bit of work the next day. Like, you know, it was, it just affected so much. By the time I was 25, everything had gone. Everything I'd planned to do was gone. And then it just went downhill from there till 91, when I actually found, I found out what it actually was, but it was way too late for anything then. The damage was done, and it was long term, and there was no coming back from it. Dr. Murray, when I went to see her in 95, went up to her outpatients clinic at Guy's Hospital at the poisons unit, and we were going, and I was just leaving. The consultation was over, and I was just leaving, and I was just going through the door, and she called to me, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Forward," and I turned around and I said, "Yeah," and she said, "I'm very sorry." She said, "This has affected you at such a young age." She said, "The problem is I can't tell you what you're going to be like 20 years down the road." She said, "Because we don't know." She said, "We don't know what the long-term effects of this will be." And that was her last words to me. I never spoke to her after that. The mobility is a bad one. That's the one that really knocks you now, is because if you haven't got the mobility, you don't realise what that is. It's so precious being able to just get in and go and walk anywhere like that. When you haven't got it, it's a massive blow. That is an absolute massive blow. The thing is, you can't stay in the house all the time. It is nice to go out and about and see a different bit of scenery, like, and that. So, but if I want to go anywhere, that's the only way I can get about, because I literally cannot walk any more than 20 yards. If I go any more than 20 yards, I'm in trouble. I haven't been able to look at flat screens for a very long time, but the old-fashioned tellies I could look at, but halfway through the COVID lockdown, just watching those just started to make my head so bad. You just can't watch them because the pain is terrible. So I've had to cover the screens up with what you see there, and just listen to the sound, basically. So your world is, everything is, it implodes in on you, like. Well, I suppose I still am a farmer, but I just ain't got a farm. Like, and if I had one, I couldn't work it because obviously you don't have the health to do it. But you never forget, anything like this. I very often, if I do go out and about and you're in the country and you look over the edge at the cattle and things, and you look and think, oh, there's one there with that, and oh, that one there's got that, and it's still there, like, So, yeah. So I suppose it is your identity. I suppose I'll always be identified with it. I suppose you are a farmer, but you're not actually physically doing it. But you'll never forget anything of it, like.